That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Thirsty Thursday, and that means we are once again hanging out at the produce stand. Podcast covering everything in the universe. I know what you're thinking. There are a lot of other Letterkenny podcasts out there, but this one just turned 6 years old. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday. Really?
Yes, happy anniversary, everyone.
We made it, guys.
I'm Al, your host, and joining me in the room, as always, is the lovely Tanya. And online, we've got Squirrely Matt and the very offensive Victor. How are you guys?
I like Victor's name.
Yeah.
Good. I'm good.
All right, let's get
fixing. I'm just fixing something.
Okay, let me know when you're ready, but I'm not going to wait.
No, you know. Oh, yeah, don't worry. You'll see when I'm ready.
Tonight's lineup is Tanya, Victor, myself, and Matt. Tanya, how have you been?
Man, I wasn't ready to go first. I should have looked up more. We have the worst air quality in the world at the moment. And it freaking sucks. Outside yesterday, was it yesterday? Yesterday woke up and the sky was the weirdest color I've ever seen in my life. Ever.
Yeah, something out of a post-apocalyptic movie.
It was like to the point where I did try to open up the curtains, and then I got so freaked out and sad I closed everything and turned the lights on so I could just pretend that it was night outside and not have to look at it because it was freaking me out. But yeah, it's pretty gross out there, and I'm hoping that we have rain in the forecast for like the whole week next week. I think it's supposed to start on Saturday or Sunday. So I'm hoping that relieves some of this air problems. That's been, other than that, it's been a hectic, busy week. We're getting ready for friends to visit, and we're going to be on vacation. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be on vacation. I need a mental break. I need to stop and I need to have some fun. And I'm so looking forward. I don't know what I'm looking forward to most. There's so many great things that is on the list. But yeah, looking forward to that. And yeah, that's about it.
I might argue I'm going through a mental break now. But anyway, Victor, how have you been, bud?
Oh, I feel like that's directed towards me.
Did you say mental breakdown or mental break?
Mental break.
Oh, okay.
Tanya's looking forward to a mental break, and I think I'm having a mental break now.
She's taking receipts. So yeah, things are good. I don't know what's going on with Maddie's background though.
It's anatomically correct.
So yeah, Matt has taken your background and corrected it, improved it.
I had a feeling he was going to do that, so I changed mine slightly. So now
it's still incorrect.
It's still in a McKenna jersey, or is that always up there?
The Sky Dome is in the lake in yours, Victor.
Yeah, but I've got McKenna's jersey framed instead of forgot how to hit home runs, Guerrero.
We don't need to talk about Vlade. We got Big Oak.
Yeah, okay. Hey, we got our pitcher in what I think might be the worst All-Star game of all time. Got the win. So that's fun.
You're talking baseball, yeah.
Keys, yeah, Keys. Like our whatever Keys.
Oh my God.
He pitched one. He pitched one. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just playing spot the difference. I can't concentrate. My brain is split. I'm like, why do you have a bear and not a hippo? I'm like, it's like a kookaburra. What the hell do you have back there? It's my brain is broken.
This is so for people who are listening to the audio only version. And you're having, this means nothing.
And it's like Toronto Maple Leafs now instead. And I'm like spotting now I'm like, oh yeah, it's broke. I'm just gonna be quiet.
Tanya's favorite puzzles are the ones where it's the two images really and she's got a circle. What's
like, yeah. Yeah.
Loyal to the soil, boys.
Yeah. Yes. There's about eight differences between Matt's.
I've already found most.
Gord on the live stream says that is a waste of Al, but I'm thinking he's meaning AI. So
it works both ways.
it does work both
Beautiful
ways.
thing.
Victor, how have you been?
And Matt, your
I've been-
CN Tower is way too
Oh, my
tiny.
goodness.
Sorry.
That's well, it's more perspective.
Actually, that's true. My tower is a little taller than yours, Matt.
Well,
Um,
the
but
girth
anyway.
of the top is bigger on yours, Victor, than
You're not
than-
wrong. It's a little whatever, Tanya.
Oh man,
I can't. Yeah,
Can we
mommy.
move on?
we're gonna move
Last
on.
time I come.
Yeah. So what's going on? Hey, I saw the trailer for the next EA NHL game today, and it's coming out, I think, sometime in September. If that thing comes out before Shorzy on my stupid Xbox, I will be very upset. It was, I mean, when was that FenFest that we were at and that we
What
met
did you
the
say,
guy?
It was that in the
Whatever.
winter. It's the Shorzy Classic.
Classic.
It was,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think in
that's what it
November.
was.
Yeah.
And we met the designer, and he said, "Yeah, it's coming out."
Well, the
in a
game's
couple
been on
months."
Steam for months. It's just hasn't gone on the consoles yet.
Yeah. It had a date, and
Mhm.
then it passed that date, and then they removed the date, and now there's no date.
Oh.
But it's still coming. But anyway, whatever. What's been going on? I've been, obviously the World Cup. So we've got our finalists. I forgot. Yeah. But Portugal was already out the last time we chatted. So
yeah. So it's Spain versus Argentina on Sunday for
Wait,
all
Portugal's
the
out?
marbles.
Does
Yes.
your neighborhood
And-
not know that?
and France
quiet
and,
around here.
in Italy. France and England are playing for third spot. So
Mhm.
that's happening on Saturday. So that's going on. Silo, the next season, it just came out, so I'm looking forward to watching that. That's a really, really good show. I think it's the third season that's coming out now. Or
I haven't seen any of them yet, but
I super recommend that.
I
one.
hear
It's
good
really
things. Yeah.
Yeah. And we watched the first episode of that new Little House on a Prairie show. That
Oh
our
yeah,
friend
we're gonna
McLean
watch that
Fish
because
is
we're gonna
doing.
have
McLean Fish.
McLean
Yeah.
Fish back on the podcast to talk about it. So make sure you do your homework.
Yeah. Well, so like I'm watching it really just because of Linda. She loved the
Sure.
original, and if you give it a chance and pay attention and don't scroll, I think it's probably a good show.
Mhm.
But
It doesn't look
something
like
I picked to
it doesn't
watch.
look like the Michael Landon Little House on the Prairie.
Oh,
It
really?
looks a little
No.
more I don't know, more
No,
raw, realistic kind of thing.
Is
like
it set
more
in
of
that
a
same time
Meeks
period?
caught up. Well, yeah, it's the story, right? It's just
Yeah.
I think it's a little more realistic about how life was in that
Yeah,
time.
that first episode is a little slow though. Like
Mhm.
it's not riveting,
Mhm.
So
But it
and I
never
think people
really
that-
was riveting. It was just like chill and just kind of sit back and watch it.
that's not why I guess. Yeah, but I think the other thing is that you don't really get the nostalgia factor because the casting is so different,
Oh.
right? You get used to the characters, right? And you're
Mhm.
kind of you have to get used to these new characters. And
Sure.
you have to learn to enjoy them and stuff.
Kind of like
that. So I
watching Wrath of Grapes and getting used to all the new actors playing the.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
that's,
there was more foundation there.
Didn't
but-
phase me at all.
No.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
looking forward.
You and
to
Tanya didn't
talking
even
about-
realize that there was
No,
different
I
actors.
thought they were just new people.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this doing the second part because it's everything that Matt's been waiting for. So
Yeah.
it's-
All right. Well, we'll get to it in a second. I'm just going to talk about my week because it's been an exciting week. Yesterday, I got to spend the morning at New Metric Media's offices. And wow, it was so exciting. I got to, so our network, our friends from Sonar Network, they have some desks at New Metric Media's offices that they kind of rent and they invite anybody from the network who wants to work from their offices to go work. So I took them up on the offer and I got to sit and work at my desk and look at all. And I shared a bunch of pictures on the Discord of all the posters and stuff. I was such a tourist. I felt bad because Michael, from Sonar, he knows about Letterkenny and Shorzy, but he doesn't know Letterkenny and Shorzy. And I'm walking around the office going, oh, there's a Vote McMurray election sign on the door. There's all the coffee mugs are like Letterkenny and Shorzy swag. I grabbed a big sexy mug for my coffee, and just all the stuff. And then up on the top floor, they have the Shozer Studio, which is their YouTube channel where they host all of their content now. And they have a couple of really nice podcasting studios as well. So there is an opportunity and a possibility that we'd be able to record some interviews from those podcasts, from those studios. So stay tuned. That might happen. Who knows? But in the meantime, it was just kind of fun to go and check it out and work from the office there. And I ran into Mr. Mark Montefiore, who I was told doesn't spend a lot of time at the office in the summer, but just so happened to be there when I was there. And I'm sure when he saw me, he's like, why the fuck is he doing here? Like wondering, am I me being a stalker or something? And I totally wasn't. I was there because I was invited. And it was fun. So, looking forward to doing it again. And Matt, you were supposed to come with me yesterday, but something happened. I'm sure we'll get to, but hopefully next time I hope to go back maybe in August and work another day from there and see what we see. Matt, have you been? Oh, and speaking of things to watch, have you guys checked out the I Play Rocky?
I know I haven't a chance. I saw it pop up on my feed and I'm like, oh, I'm
trailer?
already excited.
So the actor who plays Sylvester Stallone, basically it's the story of Sylvester Stallone writing the Rocky script.
Yeah.
And the actor they got playing him, perfection.
Yeah. I saw it pop up before I even read anything. I'm like, oh my God, is this what I think it is?
Yeah.
And it is, and I'm excited. And
then just reading all the comments on the YouTube about it is hilarious because it's like, oh, this guy looks like he could, star in I Play Rambo and all, like it's all they're just going on with it, right? But it looks, I mean, who knows how good it's going to be, but it like the casting at least is on point for it. Matt, how have you been?
Yeah, it's been a busy week. I wasn't able to join you yesterday. I'm still working through. We have a bit of a plumbing issue. Nothing that's stopping everything, but I've got to sort out some issue with my hot water heater and hopefully get that sorted out soon before things get any crazy around here. We have our first Airbnb guests in this week, so there's been a nice couple downstairs. They joined us on Monday, I believe, and they're here till Monday. So they're doing a whole week stay. Quiet, been great. No issues so far, at least that we know about. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Just keeping us busy. So we're trying to, I think the most challenging thing is to trying to convince a 6-year-old not to be an asshole and run around the house when there's people right below us. So
that's the challenge with having tenants. We had tenants many.
Oh, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was stressful.
Yeah. So we're trying to teach respect, and it's like, and luckily we have my office here where I record and everything. That this is sort of like it's not above anything. So we often come out here. So all week we've been in the mornings. I've been like having my little guy watch TV out here and stuff, just to not be an idiot because he's ADD to the max and just runs around. So anyways, it's going well. And we have a quick turnover on Monday with another guest coming in on Monday afternoon for a couple days. But yeah, the wooden rail Airbnb is up and running and it's exciting. We're just going to hope that we maintain some tenancy and it works out for us. So that's
cool.
Kind of cool. And then the other thing, I know I dropped a picture in the Discord.
Oh yeah,
my big deck energy is about to get bigger, deckier, and more energy. I don't know how this conversation. We've always talked about extending the deck up to the pool that we have in there, but didn't really take it serious because lumber's expensive and all this. And then we got a random lead the other day on these massive skids or pallets that are 10 feet by 4 feet. In length, and they're perfect for a deck. So it was actually kind of a funny story. So Jen found this guy online. He had like 12 of these things, and he had them listed for $300. So she messaged him and laughed, and she's like, "I'll give you $100." And the guy's like 140. And then as she's doing this, she finds another post of the literal exact same skid saying free. So she messages that guy and says, "I'm a little confused. I'm negotiating on over here, but you've got them for free." He's like, "Yeah, come get them. They're free." And then as she's saying that on the first conversation, the guy now sends a screenshot of her conversation from the other guy. So they know each other. And it turns out they both work together at this kitchen company And he's laughing. He's like, well, I guess you get him for free now because I fucked up. And
or his buddy fucked up and just cost him some money.
Exactly. So it was kind of, when we met them, they were totally nice guys. It was a great experience. They had a good laugh. And all he said is, you know what, here, I'll make a deal. Bring me a 6-pack of Coors and we'll call it a day.
Perfect.
So we showed up with a trailer, a 6-pack of Coors, and nicest guys in the world. They helped us load up, helped us back in. It was a really tight spot. Were giving us all kinds of information about kitchens if we wanted to buy one. And then out of nowhere, he's like, oh, you want a mirror? Walks away and comes out with, like, I'm talking mint, brand new, fully packaged, imported from Italy mirrors. And he's like, here, take all these. I got like 50 of them. We're just going to be throwing them away anyways.
Oh, geez.
So we came up with 6 of those, plus a giant stack of skids, and for a 6-pack of beer. So couldn't go wrong.
I feel like your Airbnb is going to have a mirrored theme next. You're just going to like call it the funhouse room.
Oh, fuck, man. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. I don't know what we're going to do with them all, but a couple of them are going to go on our wall.
Yeah, sell them.
And so anyways, I'm building a deck using the skids. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Just build a little platform and line them up.
On our 6-year anniversary, you are basically going back to flipping mirrors and building decks. It's not bicycles, but it's mirrors.
Yeah,
and
I haven't evolved much.
No, flipping and building.
Flipping and building.
Yes. All right. Well done. Well, let's get this thing started, shall we?
Previously
last week
on Letterkenny.
Last week we began the second mini-series with part 1 of The Wrath of Grapes. And this week we finish off part 1 and give our ratings and MVPs. Have you guys done your homework? Tanya, have you done your homework?
Yes.
Victor, have you done your homework?
It is.
I've done my homework. Matt, have you done your homework?
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
All right. Well,
don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
All right. We left off last week after being shown the door in Colorado. Don Cherry found a new home on Hockey Night in Canada. I guess I got to share my screen so I can show all this stuff. One moment here, please. So we pick up with another flashback. Oh, wait. Hold on. Sorry, I got to do this. Okay, we pick up with another flashback to Don's junior hockey days in Barrie under Hap Ems. One of Don's teammates named Rick made the mistake of sneaking out with the girl the night before. Hap finds out and immediately makes an example of him. Rick is sent home while the rest of the team gets dressed for the game. Well, everyone except Don, who doesn't dress but ends up in the stands acting as goal judge. At just 16 years old, Don thinks his hockey career was already slipping away. Frustrated, Don tells one of his teammates he's had enough. If Hap isn't going to play him, then he should trade him. His teammate warns him that's a terrible idea. It could end his career before it even begins, but Don marches into Hap's office anyway.
My problem is, if you're not going to give me a chance to play, I want to go some other place. And I want to dress and get on the ice and be part of the team.
A lot of boys your age would kill for the chance to be in your shoes. You want out?
I want to play hockey. I don't care where I go.
Bring your bag tomorrow.
Hap's lending me to the Windsor Spitfires for the rest of the season. No, it's great news. The only thing is, I have to quit school.
Oh, you can't quit school, Donald. You'd regret that all your life.
I have to. I want to play hockey, and there's no other way.
Well, I know you want to play hockey, but you can't play forever, no matter how good you are. And if you haven't finished high school, you could be at such a disadvantage.
Mom, I have to do this.
It's a hard world out there. You could ruin your life. I never thought you would quit school.
I'll be all right. You'll see. And one day you'll be sitting in the stands watching me play in the NHL. I gotta go, Mom. Say hi to Dad. Bye.
Sometimes, without knowing it, you make a choice that changes your life forever. And Mom was right. I've regretted it ever since.
All right, Tan, what do you think of that scene?
Oh, it's so hard to watch. My heart goes out to the mom. Like, it's like you see
You would take
something-
her side.
You see something and the where it's gonna go, and it's like try to stop it. And no. Anyways, but what I want to know is why would the coach even suggest such a thing? Like, is that what happens or happened?
Oh, it kind of still happened. I mean, hockey in Canada, the junior system in Canada anyway, it's not tied to schools like it is in the US, right? In the US and NCAA system, basketball players, football players, they all go through college, university.
Hockey too.
Well, yeah, they do. But for the most part, or back then anyway, the route to hockey wasn't through
today.
school.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, today NCAA for hockey is huge.
Yeah, but it wasn't back then. Back then, juniors were, and juniors had nothing to do with school. Like if you had the time, the spare time, sure, you can go to school, but don't let it interfere with hockey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some coaches like Hap M, he did though prioritize education with his players. He was known to anyway. But because now he was moving over to Windsor where they didn't care, that's why Don Cherry had to stop, quit school.
And did he ever go back? Did anyone look it up? Did he get
not by the sounds of it?
He didn't get his
because he said he regretted it ever since, so he probably never went back. No. Huh. I just listening to Tyler Johnston, with that accent, saying "udder" instead of "other" and stuff. It's just kind of
you wouldn't need
weird.
a speech coach if you went back to college,
right? Yeah, and we'll get to that. But yeah, Victor, what did you think of that scene?
Yeah, it was a good scene, but I feel like that a scene like that just again makes you forget that there was a first movie, just because it's so complete, right? It takes you back to his childhood and it kind of recreates that whole timeline for you that you almost kind of very easy to forget that there was this whole other movie that we just finished watching because this is it's building a story without any gaps.
Yeah.
So it's very good.
Matt.
Yeah, I agree with Victor. It's just kind of carrying on. It's I know we're seeing a different point in time, but the bounce back and forth along this movie is really, yeah, it almost feels unnecessary for the first one, even though it was really an interesting take on everything. But I mean, my only take on this scene though, on specifically, was I felt the mom was very light. I feel like, and maybe it was just a different time, and that could be part of it, but she's just like, oh, okay, like, you probably will regret it. But I think any modern parent would be like, hell you are. Like, you like,
yeah, but it's Tim's interpretation and he wasn't there to see it.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure. But it just seems the delivery of that seemed very like the mom just like, okay, like he's what, 16? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you sure? Like it's we're not negotiating whether you want to eat your peas or not. It's like, this is school.
Yeah.
So, but whatever, it is what it is. And clearly it worked out for him. And in the idea of that, he regretted ever since knowing what his future was. I find that an interesting comment as well. So I'm actually curious if we get Tim on to ask about that specifically on that comment about regretted ever since and what Cherry's take on it and how that fit into that, because
we have to start writing those questions down.
Right. It clearly led to a lot of things throughout his life making this choice. So where's the regret coming from?
I think we see a lot of the regret in the first movie when he was going from job to job and all he could do when he wasn't playing hockey was work construction or work on the railroad and stuff, right? He didn't have any education to do anything other than that, right?
Other than that, yeah. But you would have thought there'd been some reference, and I know maybe they made one without knowing they were going to make two or whatever. But I just don't see the connection.
All right. We move on. We fast forward back to 1980 and Don's sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring with another coaching opportunity, but nothing's happening. Alan Eagleson, his agent, tells him to be patient. Someone always gets fired before Christmas. But Rose has another idea. If coaching doesn't work out, Hockey Night in Canada wants Don to come on the air as a guest analyst. Don jumps at the opportunity, saying he grew up listening to Foster Hewitt and considers appearing on Hockey Night in Canada a tremendous honor. And he even admits he would have done it for free. We then get a behind-the-scenes look at Don's first day at the studio. Producer Ralph Mellanby introduces him to the crew and explains how television works, which cameras to look at, where to stand. It's immediately obvious Don is completely out of his element. When Wardrobe tries to hand him one of the standard light blue Hockey Night in Canada blazers, Don absolutely hates it. He'd much rather wear one of his own colorful suits. Mellanby gives in to Don, not for the last time. Next comes Don's television debut alongside Dave Hodge. He's nervous and he keeps looking at the wrong camera.
Come on, Don. Camera 2, Don. You got to keep talking.
I find that with an assistant coach, you lose control of that stuff. You know, it's tough.
He's kind of mumbling. He's not finishing his sentences.
Okay, 45 seconds to wrap it up.
It's not an easy way to coach.
Don?
And I think you'll find that you burn out.
Is that what happened to Joe Crozier? Did he burn out?
Well, I don't know what happened to Joe, but I played for him in Rochester, and he's a good coach. But you know, that burnout they talk about, that's a real thing. It happens to guys who coach with emotion like I did in Boston. But you know, you're living and dying with those players every shift.
Okay, 2-1.
He's looking at the wrong camera.
Camera 1, Don. Don, other
Keep
camera.
it on 2.
You have 2 choices, Don.
Keep it on 2.
Okay, go back to 2. Back to 2. Just stay on 2 the whole time.
God. I think you find those guys after 4 or 5 years, you know, they run out of gas like I did. Hey, I didn't get fired from Boston, you know. I did enough. But you know what I never hear about?
What's that?
Never hear about a GM burning out. Not a one.
Just wrap it up.
Did Dad take a shot at all the GMs in the league? Uh-huh.
Well, we thank Don Cherry for his thoughts and for joining us this week. Stay with us. There's more to come on Hockey Night in Canada.
All right, Tanya, talk about that scene.
Rose putting her hand over her eyes and then just
Yeah.
I love her delivery of that. I love that it would go from in the studio to the sound room and then to the house, and I love the setup for it. It was perfect.
Victor?
Yeah, I mean, that was so obvious that was going to happen. I loved. There's 2 cameras. There's 2 choices. Yeah. He's always making the wrong one.
Yeah.
Oh, it was, and this is a great setup also for what's coming. But I loved it.
Yeah. Watching this scene kind of, and we talked a lot about this watching the first miniseries, and we haven't really discussed it a lot here, but let's bring it back to Letterkenny and the crack and egg scenes, right? When they're in the studio and they're like, where's that noise coming from? Like, yeah, it's just kind of, I'm sure one doesn't influence the other, but in this case, but it's just kind of comical watching him struggle with the voices in his ear too. Like that would be distracting. Can you imagine while you're saying something and having somebody in your ear saying 5 minutes, camera 2, camera 3, wrong camera, whatever, right? Like that would be.
Well, I went through that, right? Because I mean, that's what I went to school for in college. So I had a taste of it in terms of learning how to do all that, being behind the camera, being in the production room and calling the cameras. And
you went to school for that too?
Yeah.
How did I miss all
talked
that?
about this. You were drunk, I think. But so that was that's how I know how hot it is under those lights.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it gets really, it gets really, really intense, especially when you're the one that has to be the guy that says which camera to switch to.
Yeah, and it's obviously why, like, well into his career, he never has the ear thing again. Well, I mean, we'll see when he loses it. It's always Ron McLean who had to do that, right? He had to direct traffic because Don would refuse to have
I would never not be able to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Actually, next time you guys are over, I'm gonna treat you to something nice. It was actually I can actually post. I can post it on YouTube now. Actually, I just never even thought about it.
Tell me, it's like footage of you back then.
Footage of me doing one of these shows in college. Yes,
is you on the catwalk?
So I did a bit of everything. It was called Strange Brew. It was a music talk show.
Okay.
Oh God,
and
scared me for a second.
And we debuted a music video that I shot and wrote and performed in as well. It was pretty.
Okay, you must put that online so we can watch and
yes
critique.
Yeah. I think it was called Making Kundalini or something like that.
What? Okay, let's move on before I don't know, before we get canceled. Matt, what did you think of that scene?
Oh, this is what I've been waiting for. The moment this scene started, I lit up and was so excited. Of course, we knew it was not going to go well.
Right.
And that's entirely on the production team at this point. Later on, not so much, but they basically gave him nothing, just threw him into the pit and said, yeah, point that. I think the easier direction would have said, look at the light. Whatever camera has a light on it makes you looking at the light, like fall like a bug.
Yeah.
Follow the light.
Yeah.
Right. That would have been much easier than directing him, because that's a nightmare, especially if you've never dealt with something like that. But watching the awkwardness, I thought this scene paid off in every way it possibly could have. I almost like to believe that they did it raw when they shot it. Like, hey, Keeso, just get up there and we'll just tell you what to do to make it feel like you deliver your lines, and we'll just I know that's not how it went down, but it would have been great if they tried to like live do it and make it awkward. But no, it was everything I hoped for in a first appearance by Don Cherry on a show like this, which instantly got me excited of where this was heading. And obviously Mellanby's like, this is why he's here.
It's great to see what the makings of what would become Coach's Corner. The two shots. Don doesn't get an earpiece. His co-host needs to be the one with the earpiece directing traffic. So that means Don's doing most of the talking, while the co-host is trying to either keep him under control or not. But anyway, all right, move on. Mellanby loves what he sees. The rest of the control room, not so much. As soon as they go off the air, the producer or the director turns to Mellanby and says, "That's your guy." And then he says to everyone else, "I hope everyone's updated their resumes." That guy's like a smart ass. Next scene. Fresh off his first appearance on Hockey Night in Canada, Don is feeling pretty good about himself. The crew, not so much. Backstage, Mellanby tells an executive that Don is exactly what the show needs. He's raw, inexperienced, and a little rough around the edges, but he brings energy. The executive is not so convinced. Fortunately for Don, he's only making $500 an appearance as a freelancer, so there's no long-term commitment. The executive quietly hopes he'll get another coaching offer. Back at home, Don admits he actually enjoys television, but with no coaching offers coming in, he starts making the rounds on the rubber chicken circuit, giving speeches at banquets and service clubs across the country. Rose gives him some advice. Just pretend you're talking to somebody in the bar. Tell them some hockey stories. They don't want to hear the secret of life or anything. And that's exactly what Don does. Flash forward to Saskatchewan, where Don's speaking to a room full of Mennonites, although he doesn't realize it at the time. His stories aren't doing too well with this crowd. In another scene, though, Don's speaking in Northern Ontario to a loud crowd that's ignoring him. So he tells everyone to shut up, which also doesn't go over too well. But gradually he figures it out. Tell hockey stories, read the room, treat everyone like you're sitting around having a couple of pops. And before long, he's killing it. Here we get an example at one of those engagements. A young attendee asked Don why he got fired from Colorado.
I'll tell you something that Rose always says to me. She always says, why isn't you with your big mouth? You always got to be the one to say something. And I guess that's it right there. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. Well, that's funny. All those years they trying to shut me up, now they're paying me to talk. How you like that? Doing this stuff taught me how to be quick on my feet. Keep it short and leave them wanting more. Oh, it's a good thing they're paying me to talk, because you know what? The phone never rang with another coaching offer. Guess I'd gotten a reputation for being hard to work with. You believe that?
How long you home for?
36 hours.
Jeez, you look terrible.
Thanks. Look, Tim's done high school now, and I know you like it here and everything, and Tim's got his friends and all that, but it's get to be too much.
You want to move back east?
The only thing I do is back east. Radio spots and commercials, Hockey Night in Canada. Hey, Johnny Carson's on at 9:30 here. What the hell is that?
What do you want to do?
Sell the house. Stay at the cottage till we find a place.
Where?
I don't know, Toronto. Somewhere around there.
Do you really think you're going to last on TV?
Who knows?
I didn't really care for the whole TV thing. But, at least Don couldn't get into any trouble, right?
Right, Tanya?
There's no way she said that. That was just put in there for comedy because it was like
that was put in there for you, so you can.
Yeah, no, she knew him better than anyone. Well, and as we'll soon see, she knows him better than anyone, and knows that he will get into a ton of trouble.
I took it as sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe it might be sarcasm too, but
right. I'll take sarcasm
or naivete or whatever. I don't know. But Victor, what did you think of that scene?
I was going to say though too, it felt like what a comedian must go through. Testing out material, reading, trying to read the room, and he basically did he was. All these speaking engagements that he was at.
Yeah. Going from town to town. Yeah.
Trying to figure out where the laughs are. Yeah.
Yeah. Victor.
WKRP.
That's right. Yeah.
No, like Tanya got in my head. So now whenever there's a scene like that, I'm just on Cindy watch. And, here's another example where they're talking about Timmy graduating high school and no word about Cindy. So
she was done. She was moved out already.
I know, but the fact that just like she's not being mentioned, as I'm watching
I try not to mention our son around here, but she won't let me. I'm just getting hit. For those of you listening at home, I'm getting hit by Tanya.
Talk about him all the time.
Air 5.
Not you.
Yes. You're either happy they're out of the house or you're making jokes about them. So, I mean, they're always they're there, right?
They're always there.
It's just like she's a ghost at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And just as we're watching the scene from scene to scene unfold, when there's, mention of family and kids, it's now becoming a thing where it's now a distraction for me.
I'm sorry.
So I blame Tanya for it.
I wreck things.
She's a distraction for sure. Matt, what did you think of those scenes?
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. It's just moving the story ahead, trying to make some core decisions in their life. And where to go next. I mean, it's got to be a weird feeling at that time, right? And where he's in between, where do I go next? His coaching has been his thing, felt like that's where he was staying. And now this opportunity that may or may not be something. It's, I think that'd be kind of stressful, but.
Well, you go back to the whole schooling conversation because he's not playing anymore. He's not coaching anymore. What is he qualified to do? Talk about hockey, I guess, and if people will pay him to do that. But other than that, he doesn't have many other qualifications or work a jackhammer.
Yeah, and it's also interesting. I mean, like in today's world, someone of his caliber, if it was like today and this all just went down, coming off of a big coaching gig of an NHL team, he'd have a bankroll for days behind him to figure out next step. It sounds like he still is making pretty decent money, but not to the caliber.
No, and that would be like late 70s, early 80s money,
right?
Where $150,000 was the highest paying coaching job in the NHL. And how many teams back then? 12. And
something like that,
something like that, right? So not a lot of
easy. Yeah. You're sitting on maybe a couple years of bankroll to figure shit out. Whereas today you'd be like, do I need to go back to work? Probably not. Do I want to? Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So Rose's optimism doesn't last long. Back on Hockey Night in Canada, Don is once again trying to juggle hockey analysis with the control room. While the control room constantly barks camera changes and time cues in his ear.
So what does Calgary have to do to get back in this game?
What? Camera 2 done.
Well, I'll tell you.
Just stick with one.
They're going to have to stop playing that Pekka, what's his name, because he's as yellow as a duck's foot.
You guys start talking about the third period, okay?
Anything catch your interest in the third period? Time's running out. Clock is ticking.
And they're going to have to start working a lot harder, too, because the guy selling popcorn, he's working up a bigger sweat than any of those guys.
30 seconds.
Can Calgary repeat the season that they had last year?
30 seconds, Don. We're moving to commercial.
Well, I tell you, if this guy had stopped yakking in my ear.
Oh, crap. Dave, just get us out of here.
We were talking about Calgary's chances this year. Think of the players who have been
Control room.
And there are.
What do you mean? What's going on? We're having some fun. That's what's going on.
I don't know about those guys. Well, I don't know. I think they're going to do pretty good. With top goal scorers like Lanny McDonald and Kent Nilsson
and tough guys too, like Poplinski and Hunter. I think they're going to do all right in the Smite division.
Bring it home.
It's a
Let's
tough
wrap it up.
battle in the Smite division this year, and we appreciate Don Cherry's thoughts on that. Stay with us. More to come on Hockey Night in Canada.
Well, I hope Mr. Dress Up is looking for directors.
All right, before we go on, production note, Mr. Dressup is kind of Canada's version of Mr. Rogers, in case you guys aren't familiar. And it was a CBC show, so that director there is trying to maybe get a job at Mr. Dressup. And by the way, my best friend's aunt did Mr. Dressup's makeup for many, many years. So that's my connection there. Matt, what did you think of that scene?
Again, I love it. And I love watching Mellanby in this as he's digesting everything going on, right? And obviously it pays off next, but you can see everyone's interpreting what's happening differently, but his vision is there and he's seeing everything from a different point of view, right?
Yeah.
And where it heads makes complete sense on how he's reacting. Like, it's his show. He's like, basically, fuck off, let me do my thing. Put some trust in me, right? Which sometimes... big risk, big reward, and it's hard to get through those early pain points with any game, or what's the not game changer, game changer, or just disruptor in any industry.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're in right now, and it's fun to watch how it's all coming together.
I love watching everyone in the control room panicking, except for Mellanby, who's laughing. He's loving every second of it and laughing and taking the phone calls and saying, what people are enjoying. We're having fun here. Like, what are we doing here? Victor, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, he sees that he's got gold there, right? And everything that's happening is it's perfect for him, right? And it's shaping what the show is going to become.
Yeah.
So, it's like when you hear, I don't know if you watched that Beatles documentary where you got to see how they're writing the songs that they ended up.
You're kidding me? Soaked up. I've watched it twice now, all the way through.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
But then when you see those songs as they're before they didn't exist.
Yeah, they're coming out of thin air, and you're like, oh my God, you just wrote Lady Madonna right in front of me, right? What the hell?
Yeah. This is kind of similar to that, right?
Yeah.
Where no one's trying to do this. It's just happening.
Yeah.
It's just happening very, very organically.
Yeah.
And Mellanby's letting it happen because without him, it doesn't happen, right? So it's very cool.
Yeah, Ted?
I love when he rips the earbud out of it, because I would have had to have done the same
in my
thing.
ear.
Just like, oh my God. And everyone's reaction, everything that's already been said. It was a great scene. It was interesting though how that guy Mellanby, how his response and reaction changed. I don't know if you've listed why
we're going to talk about it in a second.
And you're like, well, you just laughed and hung up on somebody,
and now
so
he's looking dead serious about
why are
something.
you all of a sudden pissed off? So
we're going to see that in a second, but I just want to talk real quick here. Watching this first movie, I'm getting a lot of new respect for Ralph Mellanby. I didn't know a lot about him before. I knew his name and stuff like that, and heard Don Cherry mention him in the past, but had no idea his hand in what, in making Coach's Corner and stuff like that. So if any, depending on how close to the truth this is, it's really impressive that, he had it all as much to do with this as Don Cherry did, right? And we're going to see in this next scene exactly. So what you talk about, Tanya, he's laughing in the first half of that scene, but then he turns dead serious. Something's really bothering him about what Don's doing. And now we're going to learn what it is. After the broadcast in the dressing room with Mellanby and Dave Hodge, Don argues that he can't think with someone constantly talking in his ear. Ralph capitulates. From now on, they'll stick to a single camera. Hodge doesn't seem amused. He leaves the room. Then Ralph gives Don some feedback that likely changes the career trajectory of one Donald S. Cherry.
I don't care what camera you look at, but I don't ever want to hear you say, I think, again. You're the coach. You're supposed to know. People expect you to know.
Well, what if I don't know? What if I'm wrong?
Doesn't matter. Look, I hired you because you're the expert. You're the coach of the year, right? You coach Bobby Orr. You coach Phil Esposito.
Yeah, I did.
Well, then people don't want to hear what you think. They want to hear what you know. So don't think. Know. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Good.
You gotta learn to trust your gut. Now, my gut had been telling me to play it safe. Sometimes your gut's wrong.
All right. So just right there, you see Mellanby saying, I hired you for a reason. And so what the hell's going on? This isn't the Don Cherry I hired. Victor, what do you think of that scene?
I was thinking for those poor English football team fans, because they're probably thinking the same thing about their stupid manager. If only he gave the same speech to his players instead of putting out all those defensive players and playing a defensive game while up by a goal.
Well, that was the problem with the English team, is they played half a game. They didn't know there was another whole half a game to play.
Well, no, but that second half they were up by a goal and they started playing defensively instead of attacking.
Yeah.
And so this is the same idea, stop being defensive, stop being scared, and be the man that I hired you to be. And I think that this is actually not him coming down on Cherry. In fact, if anything, he's motivating him. He's being a good leader, and he's trying to get him to get out of his shell and actually step up, right? So I thought this was fantastic. It's great leadership right there.
The other thing I liked about this scene is Dave Hodges' reaction to Mellanby saying, all right, we'll just use one camera and stuff like. So I've met Dave Hodge, and actually I've gotten to know Dave Hodge through the Toronto Mike podcast. He appears on Toronto Mike's podcast once a year. The man's a big music fan and he talks music a lot and stuff like that. But he was a sports media icon throughout he started on Hockey Night in Canada, but went on to TSN. He's like a big time guy, but he's also a very serious broadcaster who he doesn't mince his words when he talks about his time with Don Cherry. He wasn't a fan of Don Cherry's lack of stuff like professionalism. Like he hated that Don Cherry wouldn't pronounce people's names properly and stuff like it bothered him. So I'm watching closely this actor who just to see if he's giving any of that in his performance. And in that case, yeah, as soon as Mellanby says, you don't want to switch cameras, no problem. We're going to one camera, and Hodge just walks out like, whatever, I love that little bit, but I think only I'm looking at it because I'm watching for what Hodge's reaction is to all of this. What do you think?
Just before I've been watching for that as well. I'm a big Hodge fan as well, and I love the kick out the jams and getting his top 100. There's one episode where he goes down I think a bunch of episodes where he does his top 100 list.
Yeah, every year he does it with Toronto Mike, and they're all new songs from that year. Like the man's in his 80s and he still goes out and watches live music and finds new music.
I appreciate that about him, and so I was watching for that as well. But I kind of felt from what we got, aside from that one scene that you mentioned, he's pretty much Sideshow Bob in this.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
It's not about him, and in fact, almost to the point. You don't even see anything so great about Hodge. You don't, because, like you mentioned, he's an icon, but you don't get that from this show. That he could be just anybody sitting next to Cherry.
Correct. Yeah. And maybe we'll see the contrast when Ron McLean comes in, right? Because Hodge being kind of a very straight individual in terms of like, he's a straight man and he pronounces his names properly. He does everything by the book, the way they should be done. Ron McLean is going to come in and give a different personality and compliment Don Cherry in a different way, which Hodge never did. Right. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. What do you think, Tim?
I love Don's comment where he was saying that he was, being careful.
Yeah.
And right off the very first scene that we had seen with him in Hockey Night in Canada was him calling out the GMs. The GMs. So if that's him being careful,
well, we hear what comes next when he starts unleashing the actual Don. Like yeah. Matt, love the new background.
I've been reading everything on your background.
Yeah. So I love this scene. And again, I understand Mellanby's frustration because I think both him and Don are in a very precarious spot right now, right? So Don's in and out, he's not getting coaching gigs because of how he acts, right? He's now being put on TV because of how he acts. However, there's this fine line where he's like, shit, like what can I get away with? What are they okay with? Because you're getting pushback from all angles, from his wife, from the show. The only one who seems to be in his corner is Mellanby.
Yeah.
And then he lets out a comment like putting lack of confidence in his dialogue. And Mellanby's also thinking, listen, man, I'm putting all my cards on the table here. Like, I'm putting everything on you. And if this fucks up, I'm screwed too, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I want this to be success, and I know you can be the person that we need, but you need to give us you. And I understand all the corporate and all the sensitivities, but if he's got Mellanby going, do you, I'll take care of everyone else. And now they're building the show around him with the earpiece and the camera, the two shot.
Yeah.
I love that. That's what you need to do with talent like this. And some of the best talent you've ever seen on TV. You don't try to control them. You contain them to a degree, but you work around them to get the best out of them. And that's exactly what he's trying to do here. And I respect the hell out of it.
Very cool. All right, we'll move on. Cue another flashback to Barrie, Ontario. Don is back for his second season under Hap Ems, and things are finally starting to improve. He's older. He's playing more. He's earning Hap's trust. And then everything changes. Two teammates are caught drinking. If Hap sends them home, their hockey careers could be over. The players hatch a plan. If everyone admits they were drinking, Hap can't possibly send the entire team home. Don doesn't like this plan. He doesn't even drink. But one by one, the players agree to stand together. So Don agrees too. The boys file into Hap's office one by one. Hap asks the same question to all of them. Were you drinking? And when it's his turn, Don lies and says yes. We then go back to the when he went back to the locker room, Don noticed his teammates all looking guilty. They couldn't even look each other in the eye. Instantly, Don knew he'd made a terrible mistake. Hap walks in and tells Don, along with the other two players who were actually caught drinking, to pack their bags. They're all going home. The rest of the team is instructed to hit the ice. On their way to coaches. Well, let's stop there. First of all, did you understand what had gone on there? Like the
yes.
Yeah. So I feel like I've heard this story before too, but maybe it's because I watched this movie years ago or whatever. Can you imagine? And this might be another one of those instances where Don shoots himself in the foot by going with the team, but then the rest of the team go back on their word, right? Like the classic Don Cherry there. Victor, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things it would be interesting to kind of verify if this actually happened, just because it's such a Hollywood movie kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this happened in some movie, in some movie, whether it was Porky's Revenge or something like that, where a bunch of guys play a prank and then, the loser gets left out in the cold. Right. Which is kind of what happens here. And I feel like, it's a little too, the way that it all played out, and I'm not going to spoil anything until we get to it, but it just all feels very Hollywood.
Sure.
That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That, it's fine.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I think it's like a team camaraderie thing, a team that bands together.
There was no team camaraderie.
Yeah, they all backed out though. Like
I know, but they were pitching that as what the goal was. Like, they can't get rid of all of us. All of us say.
I buy it that Don would be the kind of person who would go with the team against his better judgment. But because it's the team, right? I'll go with the team. Fine.
Because the team is saying.
Yeah, but the fact that everyone on the team didn't do what they said they were going to do is it's a little suspect.
A prank.
Yeah,
it's almost like a prank.
It's almost
which you would get in kind of Revenge of the Nerds or Porky's Revenge. It's those kind of movies where shit like that happened.
Yeah, Matt, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one. Like, and I get why I understand. I know it's a hard one. I see what he did. Let's put it that way. Do I think it was a smart move. I don't know. I don't know how close he was with the team, but I know teams are they loyal to the soil kind of shit.
Oh yeah.
But I think it'd be really hard coming back from that and having any faith in your team beyond that day, because he went in on that also under the belief that we are a team and we all have each other's backs. And when it was only him and showed that loyalty and everyone else, it would be an ugly scene beyond that day,
Yeah.
I think. And I think all morale amongst the team, and I know we see a bit of it, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think it's a silly decision to fall on the sword with a couple of idiots. But again, I don't know how close they were beyond just being teammates. So I don't know. It's a weird one for me.
So on their way to the coach's house, one of the guilty players thanks Don for standing up for them. Don admits he was probably just the only one dumb enough to do it. In voiceover, Don says he isn't worried about the hockey anymore. He's worried about facing his parents. If he gets on that train, he'll have to explain why he's been thrown off the team. One of the boys, once he's in coach's house, one of the boys, almost in tears, desperately begs Hap for another chance, saying his father will kill him if he comes home. Hap looks at Don, but he refuses to beg. Hap's wife, Mabel, quietly reminds him to think about the boy's parents. What if it was our Paul standing in front of you, meaning their son? Cut to the players in the locker room. Don and the other two players walk back into the room. They've just been given reprieve. But in voiceover, Don admits he may have gotten himself into that mess, but he never forgot who pushed him into it from behind. So during the next skate, Don waits for his target, runs him into the boards, and proceeds to beat him mercilessly as his teammates and coach look on, but don't try to stop it. Hockey justice has been served. So now the way that, Matt, you were talking about, like, would that restore maybe not their faith in the team, but at least now Don's a leader, right?
So explain that again. So I feel like when I watched it, I missed that brief connection of why he targeted that guy. And then
he's the one that was trying to convince Don to go along with the team.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
He pushed
that's the
him.
antagonist.
Yeah. When Don makes,
so he's the one who pushed the idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one of the guys that.
Nah, you got to pay attention. They don't all look alike.
I've got ADHD, man. It's a squirrel went by or some shit. But that's why I'm like,
This is the perfect example of comeuppance.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Got it now. Now it makes all sense. So, yeah. So if he's the main antagonist, that's why okay.
So do you think the coach knew? Sorry, Matt.
I think the coach, when he saw Don wouldn't even beg to stay on the team or whatever, that Don was likely sticking up for one of his players. So when he saw Don beating on, like when he was given a second chance and then saw Don beating on the player, to me, I would be like, yeah, that's the guy who pushed him to.
I think coach knew what was going on.
Could we call this a version of kangaroo court?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Kangaroo Judge Dredd.
This is what hockey culture always talks about. Let them police themselves, right? This is the example of what they want to be able to do. Keep the rule makers out of it. We can police ourselves, and this is exactly what they did.
But then what is the coach showing of himself that he's not, like, he kicked the first kid out because he had a
he
date.
Didn't kick anybody out.
No, he didn't
He
kick.
had a
The
date.
first kid. Yeah.
Yeah, the first kid he kicked out. There was hardcore rules. Everybody knew the rules before.
Well, he has
they
to set an
began.
example. He has to set the tone.
Right, but now what's the example that he's setting? Yeah, okay, you did wrong.
He's got a little bit of humanity.
Well, not only that though, the example he's setting is, okay, yes, I let these three off the hook, but a pound of flesh still needs to be extracted, and Don extracted it for him.
Yeah. No, I think coach did the right thing in this scenario.
So we flash forward after that scene to the end of the season with Don and his teammates raising the Memorial Cup in celebration before handing it over to their coach, Hap M. So there you go. It worked. It gelled the team. Whatever happened there made them closer, and they ended up winning the Memorial Cup. Barry was a powerhouse, and Don played more minutes than any other defenseman. Don's parents were in the crowd to witness it. Now, back in the 80s, Don's watching replays of his Bruins loss to the Canadiens in the playoffs when Rose walks in. Don informs her that Ralph called with good news. CBC wants to sign him to a contract. Rose is happy, but Don doesn't seem to be pleased. Says he's become too comfortable just sitting there answering questions like everyone else. That's not who he is. He wants to go back to being the swaggering coach who kicked towels and threw things behind the Bruins bench. Rose gently reminds him that that's what got him fired. Don doesn't care. If Ralph wants the guy who coached Boston, that's exactly who he's going to get. Cut to the next hockey night in Canada. Before the show begins, Don tells the producers he doesn't want to talk about the NHL Board of Governors meeting. Nobody cares about that. He's got something else on his mind, but he doesn't tell anyone what it is. They're all going to find out together. They start the segment, and this is our first time seeing and hearing the familiar intro to Coach's Corner.
So, the European hockey players that everybody seems to love so much, they get drafted and they come over here on their one-way contracts. Meanwhile, our good Canadian boys are down the AHL working their way up like they should be, except there's no spot for them on the big club now because they got to look after dainty little Hans Christian Andersen or whatever.
It's a new player to me.
Oh, you know who I'm talking about, Lars Larsenson or whatever. They're stealing jobs from hard-working Canadian boys who have earned the right to play in the NHL. You work your way up in the minors like I did.
The world is changing, Don.
Okay. Well, first of all, the only way I can stop him is if we go off the air.
You can't deny the skill level.
Oh, are you saying Canadian hockey players don't have skill? Well, we got to go get it from Finland or East Sweden or something like that?
Of course not. But when you've got players like Kent Nielsen, Peter Stastny...
Oh, you don't like Wayne Gretzky? Don't like Mike Bossy? What about Charlie Simmer or Marcel Dion?
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Well, I don't like it.
If you want to make sure he gets the message, I think the best way would be for you to deliver it in person. So I can arrange a time for you to meet Don, and you can tell him your concerns yourself.
So does the game of hockey.
No?
It
You sure?
We've got 21 teams. We're looking at
okay.
expansion. You need the European
Right, we are out
to
in
come to North America.
5.
Hockey is played right here, and no one beats Canadian boys for that.
And there we go. We have a fully formed Don Cherry. What'd you think of that, Tim?
There's a lot going on in that scene. I love that he kicked the earpiece out and he was just going for it. I love too that they showed that no one knew what they were going to talk about, and it was just on the fly.
No one knew what he was going to talk about.
What he was
not even his co-host.
Yeah,
knew what he was going to talk about.
Does Dave Hodge ever talk about that moment?
I don't know about that moment in particular, but he's talked in the past about his time with Don Cherry, and Dave Hodge has his own mythos that you can go into, like could have his own movie if he wanted to. But anyway, yeah. Victor, what did you think?
Before we jump into that, when you were describing the scene where he's watching the Bruins reruns, Tanya got her wish. Yeah. Not only did they show that part with him on the bench, but he actually freeze framed it when he had his arms out. Yeah. When Rose came in and started talking to him, so that was for you, Tanya.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. In terms of this scene, so basically what he says there ends up being repeated over and over and over again through his tenure as Coach's Corner, as coach and Coach's Corner. And for me, and this is kind of where I stand. Like I to this day, I think he got, we did him dirty by not kind of calling CBC out for what they did, because they kept him on the air specifically because this is the kind of stuff that he was saying. And what he was saying there is not so different than what he was saying about those people. Right. It's on the same level. It's on the same. It's one is not worse than the other. They're equally as bad. They're equally not appropriate. They're not worded correctly. But that's exactly why they kept him on the air.
Right.
All these
difference, though, Victor, is CBC didn't fire him. Rogers fired him. So that's the difference.
I don't care who it was.
Well, it matters. But the reason matters
because stood behind.
The point you're making, though, is CBC stood behind him for 25 years when he was saying the same, if not worse. Exactly. But then when Rogers took over, corporate Canada took over, and they're not going to put up with that shit. Like CBC might have, but Rogers didn't.
Yeah, I'm not going to let him off the hook. They kept him on the air for the same reason.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would have gotten rid of him as soon as they took over, and they didn't, because it was great. And then all of a sudden they got flack, and then they said,
and then they did what corporations do. They get rid of you.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
at the
and
peak
his
of
and his
cancel
best
culture.
yeah, and his best buddy let it happen, and
His best buddy had no, so Victor, I'm going to call you to task on this because you know what, Ron McClain is not a villain in this, all right? And if just the same as when you laugh at Don for lying about drinking for the team back then, that would be what Ron McClain would essentially be doing by taking one for Don. No, he was doing his job. He got mixed up and entangled in the mess. You want him to give up his career because
I didn't. First of all, I didn't say he should give up his career. I said he should have backed him. That's all. I didn't say he should.
He remained Don Cherry's friend to this day. So you know what? And Don Cherry doesn't blame him for that.
We can ask Tim, and Tim.
Yeah, well, Tim has already said. Tim has already said. Matt.
Oh, sorry, I was mid drink.
That's all right.
No, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
This is Don Cherry. This is amazing. The look on Mellanby's face, that slow push into him past the director and the switchboard operator who looked flabbergasted, said it all. He's like, "This is where my cards are, and we're ready to go." And I love who I'm assuming is like the head of the network or someone's on the call, whoever's calling him.
Yeah.
But like, he's like, yeah, I'll introduce you to him. I love it. He's like, I'll just here. You want to deal with it? Come.
Yeah.
If not, fuck off.
I feel like they use one actor to act on behalf of the CBC brass. I don't even know if he's got a name, but they just use the same guy who's always going to be there to say like, fire him or get him in line or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's incredible. It's, agree or don't agree with what's coming out of his mouth. This is where he took off, and you saw everything about him right then and there. And you can also already feel the disconnect with him and Hodge there as well, around like they're not on the same level, which obviously leads into where this goes. But no, this is him unleashed, and here we go.
All right, next scene. Mellanby phones Rose. Don skipped a CBC promotional interview. Mellanby is at his wit's end. He's trying his best to work with Don. There are plenty of people at CBC who would love to see him gone. Rose tells Mellanby now he knows how Sinden and Mirren felt. The reason Don is being difficult about the interview is because it's game day. She explains that Don still lives his life exactly the way he did when he was coaching. Morning routine, pregame meal, nap, game, show. He still thinks like a player. That's why he never fit into management, and that's why he'll probably never change. Instead of being angry, Mellanby is actually writing all of this information down in his mind. This is good, useful information. The final and most important advice Rose gives Mellanby is the surest way to get Don to do something is to tell him he can't do it. Before we move on, there was no scene here, but I love, and again, who knows the accuracy of this, right? Because no one was there when this is happening. But Mellanby, instead of like getting angry with Rose, hearing all this stuff, he's writing this down. He's noting these are all the keys. Like Rose is the neck turning Don, and Mellanby wants to be the neck turning Don at work. And so he's getting tips and tricks from Rose.
And I called it when we were watching. I'm like, there goes the neck again. So I don't know what spearheaded all of it. I think I missed that part. Don skipped the CBC.
There was some a promotional interview that Don was supposed to be at, and he didn't show up.
Oh, and that's what.
But it was on game day, and so Rose is trying to explain to Mellanby, don't book him anything on game day.
But wait, I don't understand, because isn't Coach's Corner on every game day?
Right, but
during the game.
So the interview was a promotional thing on top of that they wanted him to do, but don't do it on game day.
Coach's Corner was only once a week
on Saturday. Yeah, game. Like so they wanted him to maybe Saturday morning go on Good Morning Canada or something and do an interview. Oh, I see. And he didn't show up, right? And so
they've got 6 other days to do this nonsense.
Yeah.
So wait a second. I thought that there was commentary on the game that there was actually being played that night. Was there not?
This is a different day. This is a different day. That's just a separate.
No, but what Victor just said, was it pre-recorded and then the tape?
Coach's Corner was only ever on Saturday nights.
And did it have reflection of the
unless
game?
Unless it was the playoffs, actually. And they would talk about that game that night. Yeah.
They would.
Yeah. But
usually the first period.
Yeah. The first period of the game. Sure. Yes. Right. Okay. I'm up today.
Matt.
But they would also talk about other stories that happened that week or whatever. Right.
I do recall watching it.
Yes. Matt, what did you think of
This was my favorite scene in the entire episode of the show or whatever. Oh my God, this made me happy. As they sort of illustrated some of the things, like where they did the cut, she's describing, then he gets up, he's got his like fur coat on and he's walking blue. Like he's a man of routine. And that's all she's trying to say. She's like, you want him to do his thing. You need to work around his madness, right? He's a madman and she knows it and she loves him for it. But I love that she's giving him the tools because I think she also knows his success is our success as a family. And this is the guy curious. Well, I'm going to help him as well. So it serves both parties in this situation. And again, exactly what I said earlier, they're building the show around him, which for someone of that old personality level, there's no choice. If you want him, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Victor?
Yeah, again, if it happened this way, I think this might be one of the most important points in Don Cherry's post-coach career, right? Because she basically gives him the insider information. And he uses, based on, again, how the story unfolds, he uses this information to really give him the superpowers, right? Like, basically like leave the guy alone. Here's how it's going to happen going forward. Really all based on all this kind of golden information that she bestows upon him. I think this is very, very pivotal.
Yeah. One more thing. This kind of reminds you of like when you hear about these divas or whatever in movies, superstars who are like, oh, when I arrive at my trailer, it's got to be 22 degrees and only red M&Ms. Like without him saying it, Rose is saying it on his behalf so that Mellanby can like create that atmosphere that is perfect.
She's giving him the rider, the cherry rider. Yeah. Make sure you have steak and peas for lunch and
exactly. You're filling the bowl for him. There you go.
All right. Next scene. Sure enough, the CBC brass decide it's time to quote unquote help Don. That's right. To help Don. Just before the game, one of Stanley Cup final network executive hands him a pronunciation guide. Apparently, Don has been saying players' names incorrectly all season. Don can't believe they're bringing this up now on the biggest broadcast of the year. Ralph walks in, finds out what's happening, and quickly shuts the whole thing down. It's game day. Do not talk to my talent on game day. Now, cut to Coach's Corner that night.
Now, it seems to me like everybody's got to have 3 or 4 Swedes on their team nowadays. Vancouver's got him. Toronto's got him. Winnipeg's got him. Now, Calgary, they got their Swede out there. Right? Well, same thing. What's his name? Pekka, what?
Pekka Rauta.
Holy smokes.
Now, you better be careful how you say that name on the CBC. They got that other Swede skating around out there like he's got eggs in his pockets. He's trying not to break them. It's amazing how he can avoid all those bodies. It's the ice follies out there. Like the nutcracker on ice. They thought that didn't come through town till Christmas.
Don Cherry.
You gotta get him to lay off the Europeans. The papers are killing us on this. And it's relentless every week. Our numbers are up. I know. It's your show. You can thumb your nose on that, but there are going to be consequences eventually. And I don't want you to say I didn't warn you.
Oh, I would never say that.
Can you at least convince him to speak English?
It's the way he talks that makes him popular.
There are 2 official languages in this country, and Don Cherry doesn't speak either one of them.
Okay.
My favorite line in the whole movie.
I don't care. Just do something.
My favorite line in that whole movie. There's 2 official languages in this country, and Don doesn't speak either one of them. All right. So after that, the next scene, we cut to Don in a boardroom.
Wait, you
want to talk about that? That's right. Yeah, you're right. Victor, go ahead.
I think it's important to mention the actor who delivered your favorite line.
Yeah,
he played Erica's father on Being Erica.
Oh, all right. So
the pseudo rabbi.
There you go. I never watched Being Erica, so I didn't recognize it.
Oh, you're missing out. You never watched it?
No.
Oh, what a fun, great show. I super recommend it. You and Tanya are going to love that show. You should definitely watch it.
I'll say your assumption is that we're going to watch it. You and Tanya are going to love that show.
If you don't watch
She's writing it down. What the hell?
So it's available.
What side are you on?
It's available for free on the Gem network.
Okay. Maybe we'll check it out. No, yeah, that's a great line, but it's also perfect for setting up the next scene. But does anyone want to talk about that scene before we move on to the next scene?
No notes.
No,
I loved it.
So yeah, that line sets up perfectly the next scene, which is Don in a boardroom with a speech coach trying to get Don to pronounce the T's in butter and roll his R's in brown cow. Don's not having any of it. And the last straw was the word precipitous. Don gets up and walks out. It's a fucking great scene.
I wonder if he ever became self-conscious of his pronunciation.
I think you need self-awareness before you're self-conscious.
And I have to believe that Mellanby didn't sign off on that particular voice coach either, because if there's any truth to how that guy delivered that session, he knew it was just destined to fail.
That paper that he was writing
The
on
flip
and
chart,
flipping,
yeah.
it took me right back to kindergarten.
It took me back to corporate training. We were still using flip charts like that. Like,
what was the one, like the second one where he's like, "Oh, did you hear me?" He's like, "Oh, I heard you. I'm just not saying."
Yeah. The rain in Spain lies mainly in the plain. Yeah, it was so ridiculous. All right. Next scene. Mellanby is with the CBC executive watching Don's latest rant about how much of a floater Mario Lemieux is. The executive goes on about how Don is anti-French and European, and he's using the publicly funded national broadcaster to pick on them. Mellanby's only defense is that Don picks on everybody. And next scene, Ralph quietly walks into the neighborhood bar and asks a hockey fan wearing a Habs jersey what he thinks of Don Cherry. The fan says he can't stand him. He hates Don's politics. He hates the suits. He hates everything Don says, but his buddies love him. They all watch every week. Then they spend hours arguing about what Don said. Even better, his wife doesn't watch hockey, but she makes him call her into the room every time Coach's Corner comes on. It must be the suits. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think that happened with us.
Of course it did. Yeah. You and your friends would never watch hockey, but as soon as Coach's Corner came
in the
on,
room. I'd be crocheting blankets.
Yeah.
That was my crocheting time.
Anyway, after that, Ralph smiles. His mission is accomplished. Don Cherry means ratings. Next scene. Don is at home getting ready for work and still venting about CBC trying to change him. He doesn't want to pronounce names differently or correctly. He doesn't want to change the way he talks. He doesn't want to sound like everyone else. Rose quietly reminds him that Ralph is taking heat for all this too. And this gives Don some pause. Next scene. Don walks the concourse at Maple Leaf Gardens. Fans approach him. He signs autographs and takes pictures with them. He finally gets to the studio and Mellanby greets him and tells him he's got to stop going through the concourse. It's taking too long. And they have a bunch of sponsors and their family members who want to take pictures with him too, which he does happily. So he's being reprimanded for going through the concourse and taking pictures with fans and signing autographs, because the sponsors want to do that with him. And anyway, he's getting that popular. Then I'm sure there wasn't a lot of lineups for Dave Hodge back in those days. Then comes one final Coach's Corner. Don launches into another passionate defense of fighting in hockey. He argues that fighting doesn't cause injuries, it prevents them. As Don finishes his segment, another story is unfolding behind the scenes. CBC executives have made their decision. Don Cherry is finished. Ralph has 2 weeks to get him off the air. Ralph argues, but it doesn't matter. The order has come from the very top. Cherry is gone. After Don wraps his segment, Ralph meets him in the studio and walks Don back to his office. Cut to Don and Rose in their kitchen later that evening.
You were right. We're at my welcome. Again.
You sure? Ralph will fight for you, won't he?
Nah, there's nothing else you can do. CBC wants me off the air.
Now what?
And that's where part one of Wrath of Grapes ends. All right, we're going to go on to first impressions. No ratings or MVPs yet, just your first impression of this movie. And I start with Tanya.
How stressful a life it must have been for Rose. Entertaining, but stressful. Like, how many times did they move?
16, 17 times.
Oh my gosh.
Last count.
I can't even imagine. It would be, I bet you his numbers for how many times he's moved and military personnel moving from place to place would be around the same. Like,
yeah, it would be, yeah, probably.
Going from that.
I think that's any hockey player, coach, that kind of lifestyle.
Does that still happen?
Oh yeah, of course.
Where they get traded as much that
maybe not as much as Don Cherry, but some people, yeah.
That's a lot of moves. Holy. Yeah, I love all the scenes with Rose in it. I think she makes things super entertaining. I love the arc that Dawn's going through, and looking forward to seeing what comes next, because he's apparently going to get canceled, but we know that he doesn't. So how did that happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what turns around?
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, really quickly, 53 times.
They moved 53 times.
No way.
53 times. Don Cherry often said he and his first wife Rose moved 53 times during their 16-year minor league hockey career.
16
That's
years.
ridiculous.
53
I mean, it's
times.
also from Don Cherry, so I don't know if that's an
I think he forgot to carry the decimal point.
Wow.
Oh man.
Oh.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, some moves were probably maybe from apartment to apartment or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's still, yeah.
Holy, that's a lot.
Yeah, Victor, what were your first impressions of this installment of this movie?
Yeah, I think this was fantastic. This is the this is the story that we were hoping to see, right? It was interesting to see the story about him as a player and then as a coach, and I think that's an important movie just for that. For the people that only know him as Coach's Corner, I think that first movie really, dives deep into that part of his life. But this is the fun stuff, right? This is what we came here to see, and we're getting it. And obviously, this is a bit of a cliffhanger because this is obviously not the end. It's, if anything, it's almost kind of like the beginning. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets out of this mess that he's in, and we'll find that out early in the next movie. But it was also, I don't know if you watched the video ends and then gives you the clips of the.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into it because I don't want to.
No, let's not talk about it.
Yeah.
But boy, how fun those clips were, especially kind of the clips of him and McLean.
Yeah.
That was, I can't wait to get into that.
Yeah.
But this is a great start to this 2-part movie.
Yeah, I think the first half of this was, I was kind of like, maybe because of the actor changes or something. I wasn't getting into it as much as the first miniseries. But the second half of this, definitely, like when things started moving, because I guess the first part of his career was explained in the first miniseries and only touched upon in this, and they fast forwarded through the Colorado year, which is probably the least interesting part of his career. Colorado, right? Boston was definitely the meat of his coaching.
Joey's taking a lot of offense to what you're saying right now.
Well, I mean, they obviously loved Colorado so much they stayed there as long as they could until they couldn't anymore, right? And I'd love to visit Denver. It's not about that. It's about the team and about his career lasting only the 1 year there. But yeah, the second half of this part was definitely, it picked up, and because you start seeing the birth of Coach's Corner that we all know and have complicated feelings about. So, so I'll leave it at that. Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of echo some of what you said there. I feel the first half of this almost felt unnecessary. Like, it was cool to see another aspect of his life, but we got all the big points that we needed from.
And now you're making Stuart feel sad.
Yeah.
No,
I love Tyler Johnson and stuff, but
that was gonna be my next comment. But this is by no means a slight at Tyler Johnson. I think he did a great job. I just don't think that story arc, or even if they could have glanced over all of the Colorado stuff and all that other, and just shown this early age backstory, and I would have been comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because the moment this started, where he enters hockey in Canada, this thing just, the whole dynamic of this movie changed, and the energy changed and the excitement around it. And this is what I've been waiting for. So I wish they would have got there sooner. But I love that they got there, and I love that we're getting it now. And I've seen Keeso in obviously a number of things. This is the best version of him I've ever seen right now in this half, and I assume it just carries into the next. Like, he is just nailing the role at this point, and it is so much fucking fun to watch. And I also have always said I love true stories, so I also have always interpreted Don Cherry as like that movie Big Fish, where you're seeing and hearing versions. that are exaggerated, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That makes it fun. That's filmmaking. That's
Yeah.
storytelling. And I accept
That's printing
that.
the legend. Yes.
That's printing the legend. So
Yeah.
I accept that. And I think I referenced that before.
But we also got a chance to see the exaggerated version of Don Cherry with our own eyes.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that before he became the flamboyant cartoon character that we don't really know.
Yeah.
So it's but it's like it's not such a far stretch because of who he became.
Yeah. And again, like, and I mentioned, I've already said it several times, Mellanby, like I didn't know that name until today when I watched this, but he is deserves just as much credit for Hockey Night in Canada, what it became, as Don Cherry, because you need that person to see the possible.
Yeah.
And he was clearly that person.
Yeah. And not only see the possible, because the hard part wasn't hiring Don to do the job. The hard part was inspiring Don to be Don on TV, right? Because he was reluctant.
And keep the powers that be at bay.
Yes.
While it developed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. This is Keeso. Keeso starts shining when Don goes from timid, reluctant Don to loud, boisterous Don in those last few coaches' corners. Keeso disappears and Don Cherry appears.
Oh my God, it's wild.
Yeah,
it's so wild.
It's pretty wild. So I can see where when Tim talks about Keeso when he auditioned or whatever, that in his mind he was the only guy, right? Because I mean, some of the other Canadian actors he mentioned that were up for the role, great actors. I can't picture any of them doing what Keeso did with this role. Anyway, let's move on to ratings. Tanya, you're up first. What do you give this part one of Wrath of Grapes? Fresh, clearance, or compost?
I just want to say that I agree with you. Like I did stop seeing Keeso beginning the first movies.
Yeah.
I was always looking at him as Keeso doing Dom, but I only started seeing Don and stopped seeing Keeso, especially during all of the rants. And then how pissed off, I also want to make the comment, how pissed off would Don had been that, you know, he's being told to, you know, let yourself go and just do you. And now he's being fired for it.
Well, 25 years later, like he had a pretty damn good run.
I know, but I mean, here in this, in at the end of this,
they should have let him go on his own. They should have let the contract expire and let him go out head held high and not being a butt end of a bad joke.
Yeah, well, that's not what happened, so it doesn't matter.
No, but I'm meaning at the end of this movie. At the end of this movie, they're letting him go, but we know it continues. But what I'm saying is, like him and Rose, I'm surprised that Rose wasn't more pissed off in the kitchen, going, "Well, they wanted that from you, like, how do they want that?" And now they're saying it's too far.
She knows both sides. She sees and knows, but also understands the controversy that he is. Yeah.
Rating. I think it's a fresh. I liked it. I know you had said that you didn't like the commentary coming through of two characters.
I wasn't a fan of the voiceover narration from Rose.
I liked it.
I still didn't even notice it.
It only happened like once in this second half. I think it only happened a couple of times the first half, but I wasn't a fan.
I liked it. I liked her.
Didn't even notice it.
If there was a movie from her point of view where she does all the voiceover, I would totally watch that. The fact that we have a movie from a point of view, but then it also brings in a second point of view, it messes with it. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
I thought it brought comedy to it, or just that kind of.
Yeah.
I liked it.
So you don't like Sonny and Cher? You like it's nice when they play off of each other.
But that's not what I'm talking about here. Yes, they were fun. All right, so you get refreshed, Victor. I mean, what do you?
Yeah, it's an easy fresh. I mean, even if you don't like even if the first half was a bit slow for you, I mean, the overall, the entirety of the first half of this movie it's an easy fresh for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was coming in giving this one a clearance because I enjoyed the first miniseries so much, and the first half of this one, again, was kind of weird. It was uneven or whatever. But I don't know. After listening to you guys gush about this, and I agree, the second half of this was strong, and you start seeing the origins of Coach's Corners, and I love that they bring in. They don't use the intro right off the bat. They bring it in like a couple of Coach's Corners in is when you finally see and hear the music, the theme, and the opening that we're all used to seeing. So yes, it's a fresh. Matt.
Yeah, longer buildup than I would have liked, but it is an easy fresh. Yeah, hands down.
Wondrous.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wait.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I regret nothing.
It's hard to believe that first Wondrous is who played the young Don Cherry in this movie. It's completely different. Awesome says Al hates third person omniscient narratives. If that's what it's called, that's what it is. It's just kind of, yeah. Anyway, all right. So we move on to MVPs. Tanya, who is your MVP for this?
It's the scene with Rose and Tim Mellanby.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
On the phone, yeah.
On the phone, and her giving the play-by-play of who Don is, and like how he can work with him, and him taking all the notes. I love that scene.
So you're giving it to the scene. Okay, yeah. That's cool. I like that. Victor, about you? Who's your MVP?
Oh, easy. Harold Cotton.
Explain yourself.
I can't believe
Harold Cotton, played by John Ted Wynn, the actor, who I believe also played the doctor in Keep Your Head Up, Kid, of the Hershey Bears.
Okay, why him? Why is he your MVP?
He was the speech coach. That was my favorite. That was my favorite scene in the entire movie.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And he delivered his lines perfectly.
I'm mad at you on this one.
He delivered them.
Are you talking about the guy that said the
rain in Spain lies mainly in
Spain?
Yes, of course. Harold Cotton.
That was the doctor. That wasn't the doctor.
Yeah, he played the doctor in the Hershey for the Hershey team.
Oh, not the doctor who said that Tim was dying, and not that doctor.
No, for the hockey team.
He's the same doctor from the hospital.
All right, I'll have to take your word for it. It's a ridiculous pick, but whatever. I'm going with Mellanby. I'm going with Mellanby in this because I love his reactions in the control room when everyone else is cringing or shaking their heads or bashing their heads against the tables. He's laughing as his ass off. He sees what's happening, and he sees, he's the visionary behind this. And I've a newfound respect for Ralph Mellanby and his hand in creating Coach's Corner. Matt, who's your MVP?
Yeah, Ralph Mellanby. No notes.
Oh yeah,
he nailed it. Yeah, I fell in love with him in this. Like, this is incredible.
Nice.
All right. Wow. I didn't think that was going to be that quick. I have no listener comments or real news for this week. So, Matt, did you want to do the shout outs?
I would absolutely like to do that to our Patreon group. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Produce Stand podcast Patreon starting lineup.
Oh boy.
37 absolute beauties on the roster, all earning top line minutes. Let's meet tonight's squad. Leading us off with the international squad is Jack, Jez, Justin, and Dennis. Crossing oceans just to be here. Commitment like that deserves a tap of the stick. International game strong, boys. Now, skating in the Northeast Division. Josh, PJ, Adrian, Jeff, Mike, Aaron, Noah, Paddle, and Charlie. Hard-nosed group. They'll finish every check, clear the front of the net, and still have enough left on the tank to chirp you on the way to the bench. Leading next is the Southeast Division with Casey, Jen, Ryan, Casey, Catherine, and Teresa. Plenty of swagger in this room. They don't need to tell you they're good. They'll let the scoreboard do the talking. Making their way over the boards from the Midwest Division is Chad, Liz, Dennis, Dave, Sarah, and Tobias. Reliable as sunrise, punch the clock, put in the work, and somehow still make it look easy. Coaches love this group. Next, introducing the Western Division is awesome Joey, Nick, Jason, and Robbie. A little grit, a little chaos, and just enough unpredictability to keep everybody honest. You don't want to see this group coming over the boards in the third period. And now, tonight's wild card. That's it, the wild card division. Scott, listed as being from parts unknown. We've checked Google Maps, Apple Maps, MapQuest. Heck, we've even asked Canada Post. Nobody knows where Scott's from. If you do, don't tell us. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. And finally, bringing it home, the Canadian call-ups. Matt, Miriam, Gord, Michelle, Cassie, and Jay. Salt of the earth crew, homegrown talent, keeping the barn full and the lights on. And there you have it, 37 absolute beauties making this podcast possible every single week. Whether you're around the corner, across the country, across the ocean, or apparently from parts unknown, thank you for your support, your generosity, and for being part of the Produce Stand podcast family. Now, let's drop the puck.
Wow. Well done. Look at you putting in the work. That's amazing. Thanks so much, bud.
You can do it. Okay.
Amazing.
I can contribute.
Well done. All right, let's move on to final comments. And Tanya, you're up first.
Final comments. This was great. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to Dawn next and how. So there's one other movie.
One final movie. We'll do it in 2 parts. Yes.
Got you. Looking forward to seeing what Victor's MVP will be next. I'm looking out for the unusual to see if I can guess. Looking forward to our week off, and not that I'm looking forward to missing you beautiful faces, but hopefully we will see you this next weekend.
Yeah, in person.
Face to face, in person. Yeah.
All right, Victor.
Yeah, I can't remember if we talked about this in the opening comments, but I think today we in Toronto were ranked as the lowest air quality city in the world.
Tanya mentioned
major city in the world.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping for that to improve by tomorrow. And so that's kind of, the main thing that I'm hoping for. And then once our air quality gets good enough to go outside, I'm hoping that we get to see some fun community folks in person, and without putting our lives on the line. And then looking forward to part 2 of this, because I think that's going to be so much fun. That's going to be the, I think we're going to have a hoot reviewing that second part.
Looking forward to it. Yes. Thanks guys for coming out tonight. Matt, great job on the Patreon read. Thanks everyone who stuck out on the live stream. Michelle, great to see you on there. I don't know if you're back from the UK yet or not, but I'm loving watching all the pictures you've been taking and meeting up with Trollinger and Matt. Dennis, sorry, not Matt. I'm meeting up with Dennis in London. So that's been a lot of fun to follow. Yeah, guys, this has been fun. And yeah, we're going to take a week off next week because Tanya and I are on vacation, and we're having our friends Casey coming up for a visit. So we're taking a week off, but then we're back the following week to finish this up. And then hopefully we'll have Tim on to talk about this, and we'll ask him all the questions we've been saving up for him. So there you go. Matt.
Oh, final comments.
Yes.
Yeah, this was great. I kind of felt like you were wrapping up and forgot me, and I was just moving on.
No,
but
I never forget you.
I know, buddy.
Almost.
I know. No, this was fun. I needed this. This episode made me so happy, and I had a lot of fun reviewing it. And of course, these bits I'm doing at the end, I'm getting a little bit of help from the online world.
Don't say AI, because some people will roast you.
I was going to say Al.
Yeah, me. All right.
But,
I'm helping you out. You're right.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. I just love this shit so much. And then I'm loving these reviews. These feel like our OG reviews. And I can't wait to do the next one.
All right. So now it is time to get inebriated at the after party. That's all we have for this episode. Next week, we're off for some much needed time off, but we'll be back the week after with the first half of part 2 of Wrath of Grapes. So make sure you do your homework. Until then, if you'd like to support the podcast, become a patron. You'll get a shout out on the show. Matt will write something or have some AI write it for him. Exclusive bonus content, early access to interviews, and your own ad-free podcast feed. Another great way to support us is by telling a friend about the podcast or leaving us a review. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky at ProtoStamPod. Shout out, as always, to our bud Ian Service from the live stream and our friends at Sonar Network. Our intro and outro themes are by Poise for the Worm. You can find them on all music streaming platforms. Thanks for joining us. Now we're headed to the after party. On behalf of Tanya, Victor, Matt, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week. State of